What happens if that got taken away by a horse or a rabbit or something? Like a snow rabbit could have taken that away. It could now be in the Bahamas somewhere. Nobody knew that because they didn't check on the other side of that fence what's happening. My name's Paul Chowdhry and I was on this show called Taskmaster. I was on season 3 and this is my ultimate episode. Is this a task?
Today's prize category. What have these people brought in for me?
OK, it's quite a niche one this time. The 5 rivals have been asked to bring in the heaviest item that can fit in a shoebox.
I think I remember this episode. I had to bring in the heaviest item that you could put in a shoebox. It was a bit complicated, the scenario, so it was heaviest item in the shoebox was the premise.
Hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing better now.
I didn't quite get that, why that got a laugh, because he asked me how I was doing, and I said, I'm all right, how you doing? And then people started laughing, but I couldn't understand why Greg was saying he was doing better now, and I said, how are you doing? But that got a laugh, so all that matters in these shows is getting laughs.
What heavy item did you bring, and why am I going to give you all the points for it?
Because it's heavy.
Really? What is it?
Melon, innit?
Still don't get to this day, after 8 years, why people are laughing the fact that I can get a melon in a shoebox, because it was the heaviest thing I could get in a shoebox. I know it's a comedy show, but why the laughs? I remember being at home thinking, what am I going to do for these tasks? It took me a long time to work these things out. And this was 8 years ago. There was no internet, Google. There was nothing, there was no way of finding these things. You just had to ask your friends. Back in those days, it was carrier pigeon, and you had to ask the next door neighbour, well, I'm not sure what I would do. And then I would say, what about a melon? And they would just look at me confused, and I think, well, they haven't thought of that. So clearly, melon is the answer.
Is melon something traditionally associated with heavyweight? I think.
Since the show came out, I've been a laughing stock. People have looked at me in the street and said, you're the guy, you're that idiot from Taskmaster. When I was trying to take this show very seriously, this has kind of ruined my career.
In 4th place, guess what? I'm putting Paul Chowdhry for putting some fucking melon in the box.
I think Greg was quite fair in giving me 2 points, and Sarah, I don't think she got any points because she implied there was a snake in there, and the snake isn't that heavy. I've never picked one up, really, apart from a rattlesnake once when it attacked me in the Sahara Desert and bit me viciously once and wrapped itself around my neck. At that point, it became quite heavy, but the actual snake itself wasn't that heavy. And then I did the comparison. I remember comparing the rattlesnake and the melon, and it was heavier. Otherwise, I would have bought a rattlesnake myself. And he was quite fair. You know, I've known Greg for about 50, 60 years now, since we both started in comedy. And he was quite fair on me in terms of the judging process. So if you're watching Greg, you know, you did well that day. Real tall bastard, that guy, isn't it? Al Murray, the pub landlord. He used to be a landlord in the pub.
Make the best snowman.
I remember that guy, David Gorman. He was in this show.
You have 1 hour. Your time starts now.
And Robert Beckett, I think that guy.
That's pretty tricky, isn't it?
It's not snowing.
Good observation there, because people won't know when this was filmed. But at the time, it wasn't snowing. And I took that on board.
11 o'clock sunny, it's 10 o'clock now. No snow today. Tomorrow, no snow. There's no snow this week.
Why does that get a round of applause? Literally, if I look at my phone and I say to you, it's not going to snow this week, complete silence here. I can guarantee this is now being filmed in December 2024, and there's no snow this week. Silence.
snowman bear, innit? That was unnecessary for David and Al Murray to laugh at that. Bastard's crying, innit? See, to this day, people shout out "bastards crying" in it. But if you looked at what I made there, it was crying. This bear represents life itself. Cold on the outside, cold on the inside. And you're crying inside, you know?
Let's have a look at the bastard.
Oh, it's dark, mate, isn't it?
No,
It's dark.
I'm starting to think we shouldn't be laughing at Paul.
She's right.
I've got so many questions I want to ask you, Paul. My first question is everything all right?
Well, clearly not, because everyone's laughing. I'm taking these tasks very seriously and everyone's laughing. Snow bear, innit?
A bear? It's a rabbit.
with
It's a
some
rabbit.
eyes on it.
That's not a bear, it's a rabbit.
I'm being called out for misgendering the bear. Well, it's not a gender, is it? It's a bear. It's misspecieing someone. So apparently I misspecied something, which you'd probably be able to get cancelled for in a couple of years' time.
If this was about artistry and about creating something that really moves people, you'd have won this task. However...
Well, forget the however. I should have won this task. Still to this day, this was the best ever snowman a human being has ever seen. I don't understand. Obviously we haven't got time to show the others. But it was the best of the day and the tasks. And I think the studio audience agreed with that. But for some reason, I've been a laughing stock since. It should be a snow person, 2024 now. But we still call it a snowman, which is out of order, isn't it? And it's not very racially diverse either, because snowmen are always white. There should be all different races of snow people, isn't it? Why is it always like a white snowman? Why isn't it like an Indian snowman? It's a question that's always been haunting me for years.
Yeah.
Is it going to pop up?
That was out of order, man. Yeah, it's called a Jack in the Box. We used to use these back in the day. This used to be used in the Victorian era, wasn't it? It was like the modern-day PlayStation at the time.
Surprise Alex when he emerges from his shed in 1 hour.
Your time starts now.
I remember this one now. I created a box and with a button on it. And my inspiration came from the Jack in the Box. And it was freezing that day, so I don't want to spoil it for people that don't remember. This is what, watch this. This is next level CGI. This was before CGI as well.
I feel like there's something... That's horrible. Blood on the thing.
Alex, I remember the day, and I heard it on the day, he shit himself. Alex actually shit himself, because you can see the way he's standing there with his kind of hands on his hips. He shit himself when I came out and went, ah! And then there was blood on the axe. Actually, this is that with the... It wasn't Red Nose Day, but I used the red nose to add impact to it.
Given that Alex had sort of set the task and we'd put a clown in a box...
Like a human one, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sure I knew that was you.
How did he know that was me, though? I was literally half a different face colour. And you couldn't even see my nose, but because he knows my voice, he might have... No one else knew it was me. Alex didn't know. Alex shit himself. The box, I remember the box. You can't see the scale because the TV changes all the scale of everything. The box was about that big. And I managed to get in that box. That was the scary part of it. If a box was that big, how did I come out of it? I can't reveal those secrets.
How long were you in the box hiding as the brown clown for?
About 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes.
What? I was in there for 45 minutes. People don't realise when you're doing these shows, you have to be ready, in position. In fact, I think it was about an hour. If he was in there for an hour, and then I had to go out and then sit in, I was in there for 45 minutes. And how is that funny? I was rehearsing the Haruken, tiger uppercut, yoga flame, yoga fire. I was just thinking, how am I gonna, what's the best noise to do? Because he couldn't see me until the last minute, and he probably didn't know who it was. It was me. Greg is a very good friend of mine. I've been out for dinner, I've known the guy since he started, as I've explained. So I think he was a bit harsh because he didn't quite know these other people as well as he knew me, so he knew I could take it. So even though I should have won the series, I took one for the team and just let him be nice to the other people, but I was harshly judged by Greg and viewers from around the world for 8 years. This was me being me. Sometimes they say, be yourself in life. And this is what I did on this show. I was completely myself. And I've learned from this, actually, because when they say be yourself in life, you should always be yourself. Unless you're me, then you should be someone else. So I should have been someone else, because it didn't seem to work for me on this show called The Taskmaster. It's quite depressing when you think about it, It's just caused me a lot of issues in my life since. What was the question?
Oh, that's good, isn't it? That's a good one.
Spread your clothes as far and wide as possible at your own expense.
You must discard 4 items of clothing that you're currently wearing.
Farthest and widest wins.
You have 30 minutes, your time starts now.
Yeah, so just 4 items of clothing. Self-explanatory. As far and as wide as possible. That's what it means. That's what I took it literally.
As far and as wide as possible.
Yes, please.
So we'll start with 1 sock here.
Chucked it as far as I could. I thought that was the task. I didn't realize that, they were going to get cabs and drive around the country and pay people taxi money to just as far and as wide as possible. Chucked it over the fence. Nobody even knew where it went. I didn't realize there was a camera at the time, but still, you wouldn't even know, because these are big open fields. What happens if that got taken away by a horse or a rabbit or something? Like a snow rabbit could have taken that away. It could now be in the Bahamas somewhere. Nobody knew that because they didn't check on the other side of that fence. I'm here now after 8 years, and I want to see what's on the other side of that fence. Because if it's not there, I should have won this task. I want a re-evaluation of my points on this show, and I could have won this series. There needs to be a national inquiry going on for this.
Pretty far, isn't it? Far and as wide as possible, that was.
You know that if you throw a sock over a fence, it's still just the other side of the fence?
When you play cricket, they spin the ball. Yeah, so you do a spin and or you kick a ball in football in a certain angle and it does that curve, right? And that's what I did with this sock. So when I chucked it, and people are laughing again at that, when you throw something in a way that's unexpected, it can change aerodynamics. Why does a plane stay up in the sky? Because when you chuck that plane, it stays there.
What did you think were the chances of that plane flying with your fucking sock wrapped round?
Pretty high. I want to try it.
So you think...
Why are they all laughing at this? You know, I've never spoken to any of these people since. Since that show, I realised who my true friends were. I thought if you put the sock on it, I put it in the place where it could have still flown.
So when you see all those nerds at weekends at Flying Club putting their models and get them absolutely perfect, the last thing they always do is stick a sock on it.
I've been on aeroplanes before. I've worn socks.
They give you socks.
They give you socks on the plane. Sometimes you get on a plane and there's a pouch in it with socks in it because it stops you getting, like, your veins popping out on your leg or something, I think. Why do they give you socks? Surely, if he was right, they would ban socks from planes. Have you been on a plane with us wearing socks?
Almost every time.
You tell this bastard that then. I'm sure if you put a sock on a Boeing 747, it would be fine. The plane provided for me on this show was under budget, because 8 years ago, there was no budget on this show. If I did the task again on the new series now, it would be fine. I would have won it. I'm not the problem here. What was the question?
Oh! Is that for me?
Yes.
What's this? So, Evil Dead. That was a reference to a film called Evil Dead by Sam Raimi, where there was this kind of thing, but no one got it. It's just an obscure film reference for film buffs.
£20 note? It's not that kind of show, is it?
What was the... Does anyone know what he was implying?
Buy a gift for the Taskmaster. You have 20 weeks.
Your time starts now.
And we've left him to last again. Poor Chowdhry.
Well, you're a man that likes women. I've known you for a long time. You've had a lot of women in your life.
Don't say it in that creepy voice.
Now, all I said, this gets a laugh as well. I don't understand why Rob's got his head in his hands here. You're a man that likes women. Greg, I know Greg likes women. And people don't, you can't say this kind of stuff anymore. You can't say you're a man that likes women anymore. And I like women and all other sexes and genders. But I made that point very clear. This is my voice. I can't change that. I'm not going to say, you're a man that likes women. Like, this is my voice. And this has been an affliction I've had to deal with since I was born. I've had this voice since I was born. But if you look at Greg's face here, he's very concerned about the line of questioning here. And then Alex says, what do you think he's got in the box? Because I have this gift for him. And I was quite taken aback by his response here.
What do you think he's got in the box at this stage?
I mean, a severed hand.
Why would he say that? Why would he imply that I've got a severed hand? Like in Seven with Brad Pitt and, you know, like... So you're a man that likes women.
Yeah. You're right, Paul. I do like women.
Since then, now, everyone comes up to me, you're a man that likes women. You like women. And this is something I've had to deal with, so...
Oh, it's not creepy. It's a game of Twister. That is lovely.
Right, go on then, as quick as you can.
Oh, Jesus, really?
How are you going to rate them?
Oh, Christ, I've no idea. I'm putting Man Down Sarah's episode last. Then I'm going to put Twister. I'm sorry.
Naked Twister, man.
I know what you're implying, and so does everyone else.
So I came second in that task. Didn't I? Where
Second to last.
Second to last. Just for saying, Greg Davies likes women. That cost me. What can you do? You know, it's... sorry, Greg, sorry to out you like that. I think since that episode, if I ever played Twister with Greg, he'd probably get naked with me and play it. You don't want to be under Greg. Greg weighs at least 50, 60 stone now. So if you're under Greg Davies, it's going to be... and Greg wouldn't want to be in a game of Twister with me because he's a man who likes women. He'd be towering over me. Greg, you're in the wrong... Like, you don't want to be in the wrong position with Greg. You'd be like in the cage at the UFC, in an anaconda choke, in a triangle hold. What was the question? I really enjoyed my time on Taskmaster, and people have asked me to come back several times. Obviously, my schedule has been way too busy. Getting on planes with socks on it around the world, people have recognized me from this show and thought I was a complete idiot. I don't know if you stitched me up on this. Alex, I haven't heard from you. I've texted you at least 60, 70,000 times and he hasn't got back to me yet. But why did you do this to me, Alex? I thought we were mates. And if I ever see Greg again, I'm going to say, Greg, you like women? That was my ultimate episode of Taskmaster. And you can watch Series 3 on channel4.com and YouTube. My season.
For more Taskmaster, subscribe now.